Hello everyone, welcome. My name's Charlie and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So we all have that one Stardew villager that we just absolutely hate for basically no reason at all. They just grind our gears, you know? If you've watched my 100 Days series, you already know that person for me is Abigail. And if you've watched my Minecraft speedrunning video, you also know I'm very speedy. You see where this is going. I wanted to speedrun Stardew Valley, but all the legit categories take a ridiculously long time to do, so I decided to make my own instead. Egg percent. The goal is simple. Hit your least favorite villager with an egg as fast as possible. In this video, I'm of course going to be targeting Abigail. Before I start, I just wanted to show you a little presentation I put together for the many people who keep asking why I hate Abigail so much. Okay, welcome. This is my presentation on why Abigail sucks. Number 1, she is too good at finding eggs. She is a grown adult and she is participating in a child's egg hunt. I've included this picture as a scale of reference for the size of Abigail as opposed to all the other children that she competes against and crushes the dreams of. Number 2, she is unemployed. Her dad literally owns a store that she spends most of her time in, and she won't even just work on Mondays or something. Won't even stock the shelf, you're just gonna stand there and stare at the produce, okay? In exhibits A and B, I've included reference photos of Shane and Sam, two hardworking young men who have jobs at Joja and, provide for themselves, get their own money. Exhibit C is a picture of useless Abigail doing nothing. 3, she eats rocks. How do you guys look past this? If you give her a piece of quartz, she'll say, "How'd you know I was hungry? This looks delicious." It's a rock. Why? What? Would you marry somebody who eats rocks in real life? Because I feel like I would not, but go off, I guess. Number 4, she is a felon. She literally killed this man. She is a murderer. Would you marry a murderer? Alright, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into the video. Alright, we're starting off with Speedy from Zoom Zoom Farm. The first thing I did was grab my free parsnips and plant those bad boys as fast as humanly possible. Then I literally forgot to water them and just went to bed. I'm so bad. I don't know why. So I watered them the next morning and then went directly to bed again, and this was the routine for the next couple days. About 4.5 minutes in, I ran to Pierre's and used my starter money to purchase some potatoes. Hello, I need these potatoes to assault your daughter. I got those planted and watered, and then I read online there was some trick where you can hoe a bunch of clay and sell it because it generates in a specific pattern, but I don't know if I'm just stupid, but it did not work for me. The next day I collected some wood, and then after depleting all my energy, I realized I forgot to water my plants. Oh, sugar. So I went foraging and found a wild horseradish and a fair amount of spring onions, which gave me enough energy to water my crops. The next morning, I harvested a couple parsnips, I went fishing for some reason, and then sold my crops to Pierre to buy more parsnip seeds. Then I continued to chop wood to collect the 300 pieces I needed for the coop. That is so upsetting, but I'm too fast to cry. I continued to chop trees, watered my crops, and took a little nap before entering the mines for the first time. Ooh, force of habit. I only ended up getting to level 8, which was pretty bad, but it was mostly because I didn't have enough inventory slots. I didn't want to use my wood because I was saving up for the coop, but at this point I realized it was worth it to craft a chest to save time in the long run. So I popped everything into a chest and headed back to the mines the next day. I ended up finding a couple gems, which was really good because I was still saving up for the 4,000 to build the coop and the 800 to get the chicken. Remember when these bugs were a one-hit kill with my galaxy sword? Yeah, me too. I made it to level 11, which still wasn't really that good, but it was progress, okay? The next morning, I was greeted by a cheeky little cutscene, which for some reason I didn't skip. Clint, can you please go away? I'm kinda in the middle of something right now. Oh my god! Ugh. Here, this is how I feel. I harvested the rest of my crops and then returned to the mines. Oh, thank god, goodbye. I made it to level 26 that night, which wasn't too bad, and then I went to sleep. I was hoping to have at least $4,000 to build the coop, but I just fell short. No, you're joking. I'm literally 200 off. That is so convenient. I really needed that last $200, so I scooped up Robin's axe and claimed the prize money to build my coop. I returned to the mines, and after another whole day, I finally made it to level 40. Then I sold all my stuff and slept through the next couple days until the coop was finished. Once it was done, I raced to Marnie's and then remembered as soon as I got there that Marnie is never there on Mondays and Tuesdays. And also like most other days, but that's beside the point. So I ran back home, slept until Wednesday, and then waited out front for a couple hours. Oh, I'm so sorry, Shane. Am I in your way? Look at this sword I found. Shane, no! Come back. Marnie, you better open up or the cows are gonna get it. Wait, can't you use rocks as ammo? Give me the chickens, Marnie! I bought my chicken and then spent the next stretch of days just popping in to say hi to Tumby and then going to sleep until he was fully grown. Egg! Okay, this is not a drill, it's time. The time was now. I had my egg and I was so close to completing the challenge, but Pierre's wasn't open, so I rifled through the garbage and gave George this leek. I ran into Pierre's. Abigail had just left her room. The timing was perfect. Wait, no, how do you unsling? That's okay, chickens lay eggs every day for a reason. I grabbed another egg the next morning and then stood out front waiting for my second chance. Look at that. Have you ever noticed that? I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I stood in the hallway, egg at the ready, for over an hour before she even walked out, but then things started to go wrong. Wait, oh no. Why is George here? Who's gonna get here first? They're both the same distance away. Okay, meet Zippy of Whoosh Farm. First order of business, plant and water the parsnips. I tossed all my useless items into a chest and continued to water and sleep for the next couple days. Why does this take so long? It's 15 swings. My iridium axe is 3. I bought and planted my potatoes and then look at this. Have you ever seen this many spring onions? Holy. Can you guys please stop it? Okay, at this point I don't even care. Can you just eat the parsnips next time, bud? I sold all my crops and bought more potatoes before heading into the mine for the first time. I got a couple gems including a diamond and I made it to floor 18, which was much more consistent with what I was shooting for. First thing the next morning, I crafted this scarecrow, so get wrecked. I continued to make steady progress in the mines and around 44 minutes in, I got to level 30. My potatoes had fully grown, so I harvested and sold them and adopted this cat, which I named Vroom Vroom. 59 minutes in, I retrieved the slingshot and sold all my crops, giving me enough money for the coop and the chicken. So I headed to Robin's, and instead of putting it super far away like last time, I built it right next to the front door. Then I slept through the next few days until it was finished and headed to Marnie's to do some target practice. At this point, it wasn't even to threaten Marnie, I just legitimately needed practice, like that was very clear. I purchased little Zaku and then sped through the next couple days like before until he laid his first egg. Yes! This time, I was not gonna mess up. I waited out front for 3 hours, mentally preparing myself, and then entered. As Abigail left her room, I decided to pull a tactical retreat to the living room. The hallway was too risky. Then I shot her right in the face with the egg. Yes! Okay, so this run took me an hour and 13 minutes, which was not very speedy, so I started doing some brainstorming and thinking of all the ways I could get eggs. For one, I could buy a chicken, just like I've been doing. Marnie has a chance of giving eggs at the Winter's Eve festival, but that's a little too far away and the chances of getting her are super slim. I know Krobus sells void eggs, but to unlock the sewer I'd have to collect 60 artifacts, which is not that easy. Wait, there's the traveling merchant. Wait, yeah, that could work. So my thought process here is that I don't even need to exist until the first Friday, so I'm gonna sleep every night until then and go check what the merchant's selling. If there's no egg on Friday, I'll try again on Sunday, and if I strike out on Sunday as well, I'll probably just restart. Meet Speed from Whoosh Farm. Favorite thing? Cheap egg. And so I did just that. I slept until Friday and checked the merchant. Egg! Egg! Yes! The first thing I did was head back to my farm and put all my useless items in a chest. Then I headed to the mine and started to make my way to floor 40, picking up some forageables on the way for energy. On the first day, I made it to level 15, which was super good, and then around 27 minutes I got the slingshot. Unfortunately, it was 11 PM, so Abigail was asleep, which meant I'd have to wait out front until 9 the next morning. Boom! Wow, 32 minutes? That is so much better. Why did I even waste my time grinding for the coop? Even though I halved my previous time, I knew there was still a lot of places where I could optimize my speed and efficiency. For this run, there wasn't actually an egg on the first Friday, but when I returned on Sunday, I got my egg and I was off. I was 7 minutes in and I'd made it to level 5, but then I realized I forgot the big important thing I wanted to try and pay attention to for this run, which was luck. In the previous playthroughs, I hadn't been checking my luck before going to the mines, and I really wanted to see if this sped things up at all. So I slept until I got a lucky day and headed back to the mines. Even though the day was lucky, I couldn't find the last Dougie for this infested floor, which wasted so much of my time, and I only ended up making it to floor 22. I headed back the next day and retrieved the slingshot, but again, it was too late to head to Pierre's, so I had to wait for the next morning. 43 minutes? How did I do worse? After this run, I was not satisfied, and I wanted to get at least a time under 30 minutes, so I decided to do one last run using the same traveling merchant strategy. Shh. Stop. I moved the bed and the TV into my little corner and then slept till Friday, and lucky enough, I got an egg first try. In the previous runs, I wasted a bunch of time making my chest on the farm, so I decided to just put it right here instead. Then I collected some forageables and headed into the mines, and I must say, I have never mined faster in my life. I made it to level 23 on the first day, and after waiting for the next lucky day, I managed to get the slingshot in 23 minutes, which was truly insane. Unfortunately, because Abigail's a loser, she's already in bed by 7:30, so I had no choice but to pass out and head to Pierre's tomorrow morning. I waited out front of Pierre's for hours before realizing... Are you joking? It's Wednesday?! This is the moment where I basically threw the run. For some reason, I decided to go to sleep until the next day when I could enter Pierre's, but if I just waited literally like 30 minutes more, Abigail would have left to go to the library. It was okay though. I can make it. Come on, Abigail, please. Please, Abigail. Yes! Exactly 30 minutes. Oh my god. So I managed to do it in exactly 30 minutes, which I thought was pretty good. If you guys try it and get a better time, let me know, because it's honestly super cathartic to hit your least favorite villager with an egg. I had a lot of fun doing this challenge, and frankly, I'm still distraught over exploding Jam City, so I just needed something fun and stupid to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like or subscribe to the channel, I'd love to have you here. Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye!